Hello and welcome to the front nine of the final round of the 14th edition of Falcon's Flight, presented by Limber Disc Golf and supported by Innova. This coverage is brought to you by the patrons of Park Pro and PDJ Canada. I'm Jesse Tomilty, joined by Ben Loggains.
Hello.
What are you excited to see in this final round? We are back on the East Course.
Excited to see the scores tighten up. The Aspen Meadows East is my favorite of the two courses. And you get to deal with the nerves while you're trying to hit gaps. What this is all about.
Yeah, this is definitely the course of the two that puts the pressure on harder, and you couldn't think of a better place to have a finish to a tournament with such prestige. Here's our lead card.
Who's that? That's me. Rocking the gander. It was a little cool out, I think. Must have been.
I would say you got the layers
and a
on.
hoodie. Yeah, the forehand not feeling so good, but the backhand feeling pretty decent.
Yeah, you showed it, and the putting last round.
Okay, Miguel Alvarado making an entrance.
Boom.
Sponsored by Don B at the time. Now a Discmania player.
Yeah, shout
Wow,
out to
the
Brian.
hair. They need a hair meter on there. He'd be at 99 on hair. Okay, Casey, the Aspen Meadows bucket hat. That was a gift to him right before the event started. See, forehand up at 95, power 92, putting 93. That all checks out.
It does check out.
Yeah. Okay, Noah Higgins, we see his mother, Rebecca, producing the talent. Oh, wow, that's one of the better, more creative intros I've seen. 994 rated, 92 rated backhand power. Yeah, I'd say Noah's backhand power and putting would be his typical stats as well.
Absolute gifts. We're back, like we said, to the most challenging hole one you'll play in Alberta. You'll see the drone flying the fairway out to the right here. Not a lot of players, especially not in this leader card group, going to play this way. You'll see the high hyzer over all the trees, just like round one. These guys will want to favor the left side of this fairway. It's going to give them the best opportunity to pitch out if they do squeak into those trees. Discs that get caught up on that right side might be bogey at best scenarios, because this one is hard to hit circle two, let alone the circle off the tee.
Yeah, if you're throwing this shot with power, best to favor the left
Years
side than
past,
the
our
right.
dear friend Rudy would have thrown out a ceremonial throw to kick off the lead card. So since Rudy isn't with us, I'd like to introduce his daughter Amanda, who's going to do that for us.
Okay, every year, in the past, we have seen Rudy throw a ceremonial first throw before the final round.
Thanks, Dad.
The winds are blowing. Yeah, so his daughter going to kick that off. Wow, what a throw it is. Oh, holds two straight.
Yeah, just take a minute to say thank you, Rudy. Thank you for everything you've done for Alberta Disc Golf. He served as the Alberta PDJ representative for, I think, longer than anybody else ever did. Built this beautiful place to have such a beautiful tournament. That's that boss from you again, Ben.
Yeah, what I remember, I think it's flattening up at the top there. Yeah, so the wind just toyed with that for me.
This will be one of the harder holes on the course to deal with in the wind. I think a lot more fairways are guarded enough that the full effect of the wind won't be noticed, but this and a couple others will be significantly harder.
That's a good throw from Noah. Right in the middle. That'll be an easy three, and he can flirt with the two if he wants it.
Yeah, that's a perfect placement for Miguel. Can't really ask for any more than that on this hole.
So we saw in the back there when, after the ceremonial throw, most of Rudy's best friends. Oh, Casey going flex.
Casey's doing the flex play. I do think you can get in tighter to this basket if you throw that flex perfectly.
Right in the middle of those things.
Yeah, tough to pull off, but yeah, we saw Rudy's friends there that have been out here working on the course for a long, long time. You definitely feel the emotions when you see those guys around and know how much people have put in out here.
Yeah, it's a big team with a lot of support that looks after this course. It is not close to a major city, and the guys are always having work weekends to get the fairways mowed, get the roughs cleaned up before the tournament, and all year. This place is very well maintained by a dedicated group of volunteers.
Okay, Noah, this is not the start he was looking for.
No, as the guy chasing on the card, having to chip out, and good to get a bounce off those branches, because that could have gotten even worse.
Okay, This, I'm just struggling with the shoulder, as I told you. Now I'm trying to throw a tomahawk, and that killed. Funny, I'm not showing it, but that really, really hurt. And then you see it fade backwards. I was throwing into headwind there, and so I got it out over the top of the basket, but then it came back into that rough. So
Thankfully, getting enough to not end up in a place like Casey, where he's got to pitch backwards through a mail slot. You'll still have a tough run from that tree line because it's probably about 45.
Yep.
Casey with 100.
Yeah, puts it under the basket. Smart play. It's going to be a bogey, though.
Yep, taking his medicine.
So Miguel, after the perfect drive, perfect pitch up.
Yeah. Looking for an elusive 2. Round 1, we saw 0. And round 1, we also saw that was the second hardest hole on the course.
I thought that I'd made that putt there. We'd had wind blowing at our face, so I thought I was going to get the lift with the nose up, but it just rode straight into the face mask. Okay, solid putt from Noah there. Salvages a double bogey after the messy start to the hole. Miguel gets the par and a little quick basket tap in.
And this was playing the second hardest hole of the day. 0.77 over with 1 birdie. Shout out to Tyler Hohalter.
Wow, that's a big bird. Miguel with a big par here. He's getting a stroke on the entire lead card. And 2 on Noah.
Yeah, that's huge.
Okay, hole 2. This is a basic boy. Take a forehand, straight, flat, low forehand. Not really a high stall forehand, but and then try to either play it to short of the basket or you play it high through the high side here on these trees and hope to sneak through. We saw a tomahawk, was it, from Casey in the first round, trying to make it more pure. And I suppose even a backhand flex you could be really pure with, but for sure the most common thing we see is like a zone type slow mid-range disc forehand. Miguel looking like he's lining up maybe a Sexton Firebird.
Yeah, that'll work. Get in.
That's heading right at the basket. Oh, what a tap from the tree. So if that scoots in there, the gaps don't line up very good for the putts coming back up, even though there's not a lot of trees.
Yeah, some of the most challenging lies on that green are on that right side.
Yeah, and so my arm hurting, especially after attempting a tomahawk. I'm throwing backhand putter here.
Looks like you'll have a gap to putt out of.
Yeah, turned a little too much for me there, but
Casey getting rid of all those tomahawk ideas and pretty much throwing the,
oh,
I was about to say perfect shot for that sidearm. Just a little outside, I guess.
And he hits the very first one of the trees too, so he's going to have like a 40-footer.
Yeah, it's all downhill, pointing towards the more dangerous lies. Rare forehand from Noah, but it looks good.
Yeah, so that's what you're looking for there. I think trickle through those trees on the top side and take the 20-footer. Okay, Casey, this is maybe 38, 40 feet down the hill. A little high.
Yeah, that's unfortunate.
A mistake we saw from him round 1 on this green.
Yeah, speaking of round 1, if you watched, you'll know that this course definitely pulls no punches. And you have a few opportunities on the front to get birdies that are very, very much needed to navigate the more difficult holes coming up, this being one of them.
Bang from Noah. That's textbook.
All day for Noah.
Okay, I'm on a knee trying to get around through that tiny little gap.
Nice.
So that gap, and you saw the trees were leaning together, so the gap was bigger down low, so I had to throw with the nose up to get it through the fat part of the gap. That was a really good make. I was happy. Casey cleaning up a par. He'll be sad on that one. It's definitely a hole that he would expect to get with his forehand game.
Absolutely. Yeah, Casey ruining the star frame for the group. Well played in general. Couple great putts.
That's pretty typical, hey? 3 out of 4 on this hole.
Yeah, you'd be under par in any group playing the tournament, even lower cards than this one. So you chose to go between. Do you find that you'd rather have a tighter direct line than have to mess with the hyzer and hyzer shape?
I mean, it depends on how tight, because at a certain point, and it also depends on how close to the basket the gap is. But yeah, I think probably.
Well, here we are at hole 3. You'll see a lot of people play a straight flying backhand layup, landing some here past or short of the bridge as you see it, keeping it on the fairway being the paramount responsibility that you have. Anything on the fairway will play to some kind of backhand hyzer that scoots in here. Big power throwers that want to get after it can also throw a power sidearm to get up to the right and then have a straight shot down at this protected basket.
Yeah, I like the layup here that's well short of the bridge and even keeps you up on some elevation. And then your hyzer is wider around both sets of those trees. We'll see if I'm disciplined enough to actually do that, because lots of times you step up and it's just so hard to avoid the desire to throw it hard.
Yeah, you'll see Miguel here doing that short of the bridge layup, but he kind of leaks off to the left. There are some gaps on that side, and it is definitely the side you want to miss to. But he could have some challenging stuff in the way.
Yeah, so that's where I was looking to hit, but I think I hit with too much speed and maybe bounced straight into the rough. That's pretty much what I wanted.
Yeah, I think Noah's here is the ideal one.
Yeah, if you're going for more, the other side of the bridge, but that limits you to that shorter hyzer around. And if you're pinched on the right side, it can make it so you can't swing it as wide as you'd like.
Absolutely.
Casey going big.
Yeah, this is the power side we were talking about. It'll get all the way and skip up the hill.
And so this would be almost parked on the old par 3 position.
Wow.
So they changed this hole because the thought was that no one could do that.
Yeah, though there was one guy in the field that was going to get a stroke on everybody.
Yeah, so now because I'm farther back, then I can go around all those trees, which I like better.
That's that.
Can't tell
PD2.
how good that is. Yeah, that's just from my friend Jesse here. Was that good? I think.
We didn't see it come down, and I'd say with that much height, you're either deep, so you can't see it because it's over the camera operator, or in the rough on the left. And rough on the left, which might be where Miguel is headed. Oh, no.
Oh, straight. Yeah, I mean, it looked like that was the game plan that I was after when I did there. Okay, so Noah's going to be tighter to the corner here. So if the wind isn't cooperative, it can make it hard to get the disc back in time. You see what I mean about how he has the gap on the right there.
You have to get it up and down moving left. But
he's closer.
To get it that high and get that angle correct, you need to have such a steep hyzer and not float into those trees awkwardly.
Okay, eagle look for Casey here.
Give it a little bit of effort. A tough shape to get around those trees and in.
Without headwind. I think if he has headwind there, he could probably make it work. But Miguel, that's dead and unattached.
Yeah, well within his rights to move that.
Wow. He's getting some jeers from the old boys there. Ooh.
Just a little bit too much angle. Probably trying to get past that immature Aspen.
Given his drive, that's probably a little disappointing not to get the birdie there.
Yeah.
And Noah. Wow.
It's a little bit left.
High left side.
I'd want to see that go for him with the amount of commitment he had.
Okay, I got some kind of a gap here.
Little floaty hyzer putt.
Oh. Just couldn't get it back left in time. That's kind of what you were asking me about. If I like to swing the hyzer around versus have a gap.
Mm-hmm.
Like it just kind of all depends. If you can get it back in time, I don't mind it. But again, same thing for me there. I kind of needed headwind to let the disc actually move left enough. But the air kind of dead down here in this pocket. You ever notice that? It's like if you throw the disc way up high, then you find out what it's doing. But when it's down low, it's just really protected in here, which is nice.
One of the more protected parts of the course in general, actually.
That's a nice huck face. Little tongue out. Big throw.
Guys,
Nux.
propping them up for a great drive, as they should.
Oh, there's the gambling man himself.
Chad, double fisting in one fist. That's
He's a former
impressive.
champion of this event.
Absolutely.
Okay, look at the leaderboard. We got Brian Freeze 3 under through 5 holes. That's a quick start. Typical though. I mean, you 3 under through those first 5. There's definitely 3 birdie holes in there. So good start. That ties him up with Casey. We see Connell McLeod, the young gun, making a move up. Wilson Mitchell. That's a new name on the leaderboard, I think.
No, he was on
there.
Yeah, he was on yesterday's round.
Okay, hole 4, must get birdie. Easiest hole in the property, 190. Nothing in the way, basic hyzer, the slope, the grass feeds to it. Not a quick green. Shouldn't have to worry about a roll away. The grass is thick enough to catch you. The only decision, as we said before, is are you going to try to bring it in chain high to try to ace it and then sweat out a 20-foot comebacker, or are you just going to lay it underneath?
Yeah, pick your comfort hyzer.
Absolutely. As long as you can deal with the nerves, you should walk away from this one with a 2.
And in the catch cam view and the third cam view.
Perfect.
Yep. Very common to see a star frame from any MPO or even FPO or even MA1 group on this hole. And as you're saying about the scores, through these first 5 holes, a good start is 3 down and you could be 4.
Yeah.
And if you're worse than 2, you haven't taken the best advantage of all your opportunities.
Yeah, absolutely. This hole all about feel, and because it's uphill, ooh, I left that inside. But even as poorly as I threw that, I still got a look.
Yeah, and it's, what, a 35-foot look or less.
Yeah. No, this is a little high, but it'll feed down, especially with that little help. So you're seeing it here, eh? You can even throw poor shots and still have putts at this one. Okay, coming across the slope here. I just pulled it too high.
Good pace, good height, I think.
Yeah.
Because you caught the cage on the way down.
Yeah, I just didn't keep it on line with the cross slope. I was fighting slope too hard, so that feels like a bogey. For sure, feels like a bogey.
Yeah, 3 on this is a loss to probably half the field.
And Casey drilling one into the front cage there.
Yeah, 43 birdies on this hole, playing .74 under par.
Man.
Gallery cheering everybody on.
So that's a bit of a downer. Normally you see 2 birdies, 2 pars, you'd think people would be pretty upbeat, but that's not feeling good there for the boys from Cranbrook as we make pars. Yeah, his game's looking crisp so far. He looks pretty sharp early. I would expect to be seeing him make some moves.
Yeah. Hole 5, 224 feet. This is another one you want to see a birdie on, playing under par by almost a quarter stroke. People are going to try and throw a sidearm straight down the gap and let the disc naturally fade to pick up this little pocket on the right where the basket's situated. Soft backhands can also get a bit of an anti-skip off the slope of this one. If they're aiming for the center of the fairway, they'll get a little jump into the circle. It's more about being calm enough to execute a shot that you know how to make here. And we'll see if the guys can do it after a bit of a shaky play on the last one.
Yeah, I've considered the grenade on this one as well because you don't have to hit the gap.
I have parked it throwing sidearm flex over the top.
Okay.
But the Aspens have grown in the last couple of years, making over-the-top plays even harder.
That was perfect.
Yeah. Great shot from Miguel.
Yeah, Miguel there, he's asking to miss that one tree. Even if he hits it, he still has a putt. That's a little high. No, it's really good. A little hot.
Yeah, it's a little hot.
So you'll have a lot of staticky putts on this green. That is common. Even when you're 20 feet away, you may have to straddle out or kneel down.
This is inside from Casey.
Yeah, he still does not look sharp. This looks like the Casey we saw in the first round. Not the Casey that we didn't see in the second round, those tying course records.
He's in a par at best situation. Looks like you might be as well.
I'm cheating.
Oh, you're getting under everything.
Yeah. Yeah, so I definitely sawed that off inside, but I was low enough that it held the line just long enough.
Casey's leaving him a little bit more to chew off there.
Wow, that's surprising, eh?
Just pacey and right.
It was framed up perfectly, but you could see it in his body language, hey? The way he was just pacing back and forth, and maybe he was trying to find the rhythm and just couldn't quite.
Nice birdie for you, Ben. Yeah, with Noah's.
Last link of chain on the right there.
It's kind of surprising because Noah's not really known for his forehand, and I think for this hole, the hard work for Noah was already done.
Yeah. Yeah, expect him to make those edge of circle putts. Noah, it's just pretty reliable.
2 birds, 2 pars.
Little step out for Miguel. 1 stroke the lead between me and Miguel. So that par on the last hole, tightening things up. But we've got a big cushion on third.
Yeah, absolutely. It seems like it's a race to first place between you and Miguel. Third place, anybody's game really, based on what we saw this course can do and where people are at
that
on those
dance.
scorecards.
So this basket leans, that you can see the gravity just pulling the basket and your disc. Nice. Very, very nice. Full of Easter eggs. Okay, hole 6, 505, down the hill, through the tunnel. I like the low shot here, where you do bring this Aspen that we're going by on the left into play, but that helps to control the nose angle and punch down through this gap. It does make it possible, though, for you to turn it over, find the rough on the right, and take a big number, which that's what I did in round 1. So I think I've maybe learned from my lesson and just throw it higher and let it bail out into the left and take the 3. Those are really your 2 options. If you're trying to park it, throw the tunnel, and if you're not, let it fade.
We did see more wind today than we've seen before, and this is one of the holes where that can come into play more than others.
Come back now.
That has to come back.
That's a third option. That's not what I mentioned, but the high flex over the top. And he's missed everything. So I think he's pin high, but maybe 60, 70 feet to the right.
Yeah,
Maybe more.
He'll get to pitch out sideways towards the basket, or even have a run at it.
Yeah, so I'm going stable with height, and I'm content for it to fade. I took a 6 on this hole in round 1. I'm just determined not to take a 6. Was my game plan.
Yeah, 6s are much less common on that left side. The outs are much more predictable and friendly. It's not terribly windy. I think in windier conditions, you'd see people trying to protect their drives, throwing them lower.
Get over it.
This just needed to be a little lower and inside, like a little lower and right to be parked. He definitely had the nose angle where he's hanging out with me.
Yeah, just drop down on the side. That's a good play. This is not a hole that you'll see very many birdies on. Maybe only a couple per round.
Okay, Casey with height and turn. If it gets lucky, we could see a look here. Oh my goodness, he's in the next fairway.
That is.
So 505 was not long enough for chunks there. That's 600-foot throw.
Yeah, that's high 500s and online too, honestly.
Miguel, that's clean. That's all you need. That's all you need. Just an easy 3. You just don't want to sweat on this hole.
Yeah, don't make it harder than it has to be.
And see, like even from here where I am, I can still have a little bit of a cheeky bid at it on the hyzer.
Yeah, absolutely.
It's like if it goes, it goes. If not, fine.
Yeah, take what the course gives you. That was a freebie as a run. And
So which side is Noah going on here? Oh, he's
Noah's
going
doing
on the Annie.
slider.
Oh my goodness.
He burns it past the band there. That had a great chance of going in.
So I think Noah maybe not content with 4th or 3rd. It looks like he's trying to really make something happen to make a push up the leaderboard.
No quitting out of Noah. And it's a lot of chains on that putt.
Okay, so maybe not as far as I thought as he was. Maybe only 50 feet there.
And Noah misses the comebacker.
I think that's the price he pays for taking the Annie there instead of, because the highs are less likely to go in if he'd gone around the other side of that tree, but he would not have had that kind of a comebacker.
Yeah, probably finds the ground sooner as well. In for par for you, Ben. This hole played a half stroke over par for the day with a single birdie. That goes to Zach Harouche. Shout out to him. He is
Nice.
a fixture of the Canmore Nordic Center.
Very nice. Probably Zeus, I think, from Zach. Yeah, I think he likes to throw those. The Zeus and Hades. Get a look at Miguel's form here. Wow, when he sets that shoulder in, that really tucks it in, generates the power from the hole in that shoulder, having the shoulder pull the arm through.
I'm loving these pants out of him as well.
Yeah, he's a man of fashion. Ooh, a shot from the long drive. Big Jules.
Yeah, Jules in the long drive. Didn't take it home, but has won the long drive comp here in the past. Absolute crusher.
Okay, we always see the gap between the first and second remain, even if the names change. We got Colin McLeod tied up with Casey Hanemayer. Brian Freeze a stroke behind. Pretty stacked up from the 3rd to 10th. Everyone's within 3 strokes there.
Yeah,
Miguel and I are out in front. 14, 15 under is usually the winning score here. I think the tournament record here was 14 under prior to this year. So we're already at that pace.
Wow. Hole 7, par 3, 320 feet. This one is all about navigating this gap that the drone is flying through now. You'll see a lot of backhand turnovers and forehands that are high trying to push in. Getting into this green is very challenging. It's very common for people to hit one of the trees on the wrong side of the gap, a backhand turnover that goes too far, or a sidearm too tight. Often spell par or worse for anybody.
Yeah, safe to say a bonus birdie. This looks good.
This looks, yeah.
No, too wide.
It's okay.
Yeah, that's the thing. You have to cut it tighter to that inside tree than you think.
It seems like an angle on paper that shouldn't be that difficult, but choosing the right disc stability to go with that angle is also a big part of it, and you've done it perfectly here.
I'm pumped with that. So that's a Banshee. That's an overstable fairway that I force the angle over and then get the fight back so that it doesn't push into the right side late.
Yeah.
That's as good as I've ever thrown it.
Too straight for Casey. Common mistake.
Yeah, we saw him get all the way up there with that A4 in the first round, but this time not to be. Noah, that's the same thing he did in the first round.
Yeah, and kicking to the other side of the fairway before the gap like that makes for the most challenging rough on the hole. He'll have his work cut out for him to save this par.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's a product. He knows the way to park it is to cut it tight. So, wow, this is ambitious.
I heard a lot of tree on the way out there.
Okay.
He made it to the choke point at the gap.
So he's looking at a pitch up for a 4, I think.
Because what is that, 90 feet still? Something.
Which, you know what, we've seen that putt made by both him and Casey on coverage in years prior. Oh my goodness.
Slips. Trying to keep his hand away from that tree, but still commit to the shot enough. That's really tough.
Okay, Casey can float this in on Annie. There's too much edge.
Yeah, Casey getting a great kick off the trees. Noah.
Looking to pitch up and down and save a bogey.
Just got to navigate this last tree. Keeps it low enough.
Yeah, that's smart.
Well
Keeping
done.
it low like that, he doesn't have to worry about if the disc is going to fade on him or not. Okay, Miguel for what would be a big par save. Not quite.
Yeah, kind of a good halfer. Doesn't run too far. He'll make that comebacker.
Easy 4. 3 for Casey. And now I'm going to be stepping up here. This will be my first 2 on this hole, I think. I don't recall birdieing it in a tournament before. I'm feeling the nerves. You can see the nerves in that putt.
Yeah. Is the lead starting to weigh on you yet?
It was prior to that, but this is a birdie that big time momentum, especially with Miguel taking a bogey here, right? So he had tightened it up on me, and now I've got the lead that I started with right back.
Yeah. Probably good to be coming in loose and confident to this next hole because it can decide entire rounds.
Getting some demonstrations here. Wow, so much body language from the 3 of us. This looks like a jazzercise class. Hole 8, signature hole on this side for sure. Every bit of risk you choose to take on has an equal amount of reward. We're going to see Casey will probably take the forehand here to this stump that's in the middle and try to hopefully bump off of it. You can see some backhands up to this corner. The OB is not on the right towards that tee box, so sometimes you'll see the backhand turnover push to the right side, which leaves an easier forehand in. Or you can take the big shot all the way here to the green. And I do remember Noah asking me about, because he knows that my play generally here is to go for it, and he was asking me before he threw what my success rate was, and I didn't realize that he was considering it. And I just told him 100%, I'd make it every time, and I didn't realize, but I actually talked him into going for it. So we'll get a
Well,
look
you're
at
going
that
for
here.
it yourself here with that boss.
Could be really good.
And how lucky is
That's
that?
some previous champion luck. That's staying out for everybody else that's ever thrown that shot.
Yeah. So it's running out of speed there, and it is starting to kind of stall backwards. The mistake I've made a bunch is pushing it too straight like that was going. And if you just get it to fade left, there's way more room short of the green there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, Casey biting off more than he did in the first round here. He's learning from his mistake of leaving it short.
Tight to the edge of the rough, but probably enough room to make stance and get around.
Well, now he can see around the corner. He doesn't have to throw over that wasteland, right? So his forehand is much more straightforward
Yeah.
than what Miguel will have from there.
I think shooting for just past that tee pad is the safe play in general because the fairway widens into a bit of a swale there, giving you a bit more space to make stance and get over the wasteland.
Okay, so I've now accidentally talked Noah into going for this.
He's going
And
to get
he's
it.
never tried it before. And that is in the garden.
Yeah, that is a great shot.
So I think that's now his play forever.
Thrown that shot ever.
If you weren't here, I would not have done that.
You showed me up though. I finally pulled it off on film.
I've never even like.
Noah clearly excited about his success there, and rightly
Yeah.
so. What a shot.
This hole has a way of frustrating you because sometimes it can feel like no matter what decision you make, it's wrong. And Noah was feeling that way before because he'd had trouble with every version of the layup had given him problems. So, wow, this looks really good from Miguel. That shot is way tougher in real life than it looks on film. But Miguel finds a gap up high with a lot of power.
Yeah, overconfidence over the wasteland is the most critical mistake because you can catch the top of a tree and move right back to where you were before, and the hole becomes a nightmare in a hurry.
Just a little high.
Stop, stop, stop.
Okay,
Yep.
that's good. So you can see the difference in the shot between what Casey had and what Miguel had there. Miguel's shot is much more difficult to pull off than what Casey had there. Casey bit off a little more off the tee, and he's rewarded.
Yeah, you kind of have to balance out where you're going to put the challenge. The more you take on the tee, the less you have on the second shot, and you can make that second shot very daunting in a hurry by being too short.
So that was an eagle look for me there with the OB behind, and then eagle look from Noah here. Neither of us making good, but a 3 is a good thing here. You don't lose with birdies from what I know of this course.
Miguel sliding his in to the left.
And it's looking like we might see 4 of them. I don't think I've been a part of a star frame on this hole before.
Oh, absolutely not. Myself neither. It is an interesting hole scoring-wise. Played a half stroke over par, but had more birdies than any of the other holes playing at that kind of difficulty. 13 birdies on the day. You're seeing a bunch of them here. I won't call them all out, but seemingly from all over the standings as well. Just people brave enough to go for it.
That checks out. This is my favorite hole at Aspen Meadows. And I think because of that, because, the birdie is very available, and so is an 8.
Yeah, I like the variety. You can play this hole 10 times and play it differently every single time.
Yeah, absolutely. And it gives you that mental anguish. I don't know why I like that, but I like it when a hole just makes you really wrestle with what you're going to do.
Here's one that doesn't make me wrestle with what I'm going to do. Hole 9, 244, uphill. Barbed wire on the left is OB. This one is all about managing the airspace you have and keeping it in check up the hill. Some sidearms will come out just to keep that OB at bay. Otherwise, like flip-up putters and things like that, just to settle in nicely by this basket.
I really like the power up on an overstable putter here, where you kind of come the over the top swing, get it really high, put some ante on an overstable putter, and then let it settle down. 'Cause then you can throw the shot as hard as you want.
Yeah, it's all about being confident on this one. And if you're more confident throwing at 80% plus power, you might as well do it.
So I just didn't get over the top of that, right? I'm trying to get that higher and turn to the right a little bit and just didn't do it.
Yeah, that tree could have saved you from pushing towards that OB.
Yeah. Casey A4. This is going to be on the left side of the green, but if it hangs on, which he hit the barbed wire.
Yeah, that's
saved
impressive.
by one strand of barbed wire.
That's one thing about this hole and the others in this style on the property is sometimes it can feel a little unfair with how this rough acts.
I'll take that.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes it kicks out bad shots that never deserve to be in a heartbeat. And then other ones that are just flirting with the OB can slide in and go out.
I don't know what it is with this tee box, but it is really hard to get yourself aligned and get the disc moving the direction you want it to go. We always see at least 2 of the 4 players throw it at the left side. And that time 4 for 4 going left.
Yeah.
And we all got lucky.
You all got lucky. sometimes lead card love is a
I'm
thing,
wanting this one bad.
and running it very well.
This is one of the safest greens on the property that, and you're shooting uphill at it. Got to give it a go. Well, I've seen a lot of long putts made on this hole.
Yeah, I think the uphill adds to that. Having a less of a chance to overrun it gives you that green light.
Seemed like Miguel hated that before it even got out of his hand. A lot of times you can feel like if your balance isn't quite on, it's like the disc hasn't even come out and you already know you're missing it because you're just kind of chasing the disc before it comes out.
Yeah, and your lead moving to 3 strokes above him, he might be feeling the pressure now.
Yeah, and Casey's always scary too. So having 8 on Casey, I have to tell you, feels really good.
Yeah, absolutely. You wouldn't be surprised to see Casey shoot a perfect 9 down on the back. No one's ever safe from that man. But having that kind of cushion definitely softens the feeling.
Yeah, especially on a course that's this dangerous, where you can give a few back just as fast as he takes them. Get another look at hopefully the highlight barbed wire bounce here. Let's see if he have a look. Doing.
Looks like he catches some tree too.
Yeah. Oh, that's Arthur?
I can't remember his name. That is the Higgins family dog.
Yeah.
We'll have one last look at our scorecard here to close out the front 9. Ben still with a comfortable 3 strokes over Miguel. Casey at 9 down, leading Connell by 2. And then Connell only leading a lot of players at 6 down, vying for that last podium position as the top 2 kind of look decided, barring any extreme drama.
Okay, only one more 9 holes remain.
No, it all comes down to our back 9 coverage, which will be coming to you shortly. Thank you so much for watching, and don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and join our Patreon, patreon.com/parkpro.
Peace. Birds aren't real. Birds are not real.
Found a goose once, and it was a dog.